Hey everybody, I am Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today is a very special live painting class. I'm going to be showing you how in acrylic you can paint this wonderful fairy tale of a Cinderella running into some magical woods. I'm going to explain everything step by step. I'm going to explain to you the materials, the techniques. We're going to show you everything that you need to know. This is episode 1 of Grateful Art Week, our first annual week for 2020. So if you're here for the inaugural year. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to help me bring these daily live streams to you, these daily detox, calming, serene live streams to you every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also he'll read your questions, and he's going to make sure that we have streams going everywhere. Streams right, streams left, streams wherever you need to stream. So just pick the platform you like best. And that's where you view us from. If you're having trouble viewing on one platform, try another. And everything is available for replay. We're going to be doing acrylic and watercolor this week, John.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're going to be changing it up. We're going to be switching it up. And I'm going to... There was a thing where I could see the chat, but nope, it wants to show me a Torrid ad. There it is. I see Carrie and Carol and Goldie, and she says sprinkled. So this is a very important stream. We're going to do these in a very calm way. So we're going to start this out. I have my wish on my 8x8 surface, and it says, may hope reign here. And I would like us all just to take a minute, take a deep breath. All right. Let's just put that week down. Whatever it is that you're carrying, we're going to let that go for the next hour or so and just do some art together. I have my little 8x8 on my little round table here. I pulled out my pencils because I know you guys are going to be asking about these later. These are the General's chalk pencils, but you could use kids' chalk from a chalkboard. This is Cad Red Light, but Cad Orange would work, or Pyro Orange would work just fine. Any bright orange that you have in your set. I have Cad Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Cad Yellow Medium. I have Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna. They're just burning all the paint this week. I have Yellow Ochre, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue, Mars Black, and I have Titanium White and Zinc White. So we're going to be creating this really fabulous fall scene, but the best way to do that is actually to start with a solid color on our background. And I think I'm going to start with a solid gray. I see Frank Elliott and Crystal is calling her friend Sarah in, so I hope everybody makes it if they're looking for the stream.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to grab a big wide brush. This
What is that brush?
A number 26 Ruby Satin Bright, and this is for acrylic paint. A really fantastic brush. It's a short handle, so that's really nice if you're painting sitting down. I'm going to get my cup of water. I'm going to dip the brush in and drag off the extra water, load up with a little bit of brown paint, and kind of down here low, this sort of little curve, I'm going to just start with brown. And you can paint the edges of your canvas all the way around the sides if you want. But if you're framing, that's not as critical when you're painting. You can see I'm just putting a curve. But notice that this isn't like pristine, perfect brush strokes. And the reason I don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to worry about that, is this is what's called an underpainting. And it's just the color that gives us a place to start. It helps all the paint that we've got stick to the surface. And it makes everything coming up beautiful. I see Becky. Becky says, hi, Cinnamon. It's great to see you live. Becky Rugby in the United Kingdom. Hello, United Kingdom. How are you today? Hopefully wonderful. I hope everything is calm and good in your world. How's everything in your world, John?
Seems pretty good.
It's pretty good in your world? I'm taking my burnt umber and my ultramarine, and I'm making kind of a nice blue-gray. And I'll get a little bit of my titanium white. And we're going to paint everything above that brown blue-gray. It's okay, that's streaky. It's just okay. It's just going to give us that beginning of that look of that cloudy day in the forest. It's a place to start. We're putting our wish into the ether. You can see kind of go around the edges. Even if I'm framing, I make sure that there's enough room for the framer to work.
Now,
Or perhaps you're the framer, and that is good too. Oh, look at that. We're pretty good here.
On a scale of 1 to 3, how difficult is this painting you're working on
I
here?
feel like it's going to end up being a 2-hoot, but there's a caveat to that.
Yeah.
So we have very easy paintings. We have easy, but a little bit more intermediate paintings, and we have easy advanced paintings. And what that means is they're all step-by-step tutorials. So you're still using a teacher, but some of them, like if they're the super 1-hoot easy painting, you don't need to have any idea what's going on. We're starting from there. 2 hoots, there's a couple techniques or some colors, and this got 2-hooted because of the trees. Uh-oh, I think there's. So my reference.
That whiz-bang-a-tree gizmo.
As I do that. So I would say this is a 2, and it's because of the trees. It may, if you're really, really new to painting trees, can be real challenging, but I want you to know something. This is just art, and it's okay. And it's okay to be challenged by something new.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. That's not bad. Becky says she's in Nunn, Colorado today. I'm going to dry this with my hair dryer. I have this on a low heat because I don't want to heat the paint because I want to be able to get my next layer on really nicely. And I don't want any wet into wet, which means the paint underneath, I don't want it to be wet. I want it to be dry.
So when you guys are out there, I'm going to say thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, Dusty. We appreciate you guys when you join us for these fall tutorials. It's a lot of fun to have you guys here, especially when we have a big crew like you guys are out here today. It's very nice to see all of you returning friends and all the new faces as well. It's wonderful to see. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff, a lot of new things coming your way, so we're excited to share that stuff with you. Oh, and
Get our sip of coffee.
how do you keep your paint so smooth and non-blobby when you're doing your, brushwork stuff that
Like
painters do?
Pretty
I don't
messy
understand that stuff.
here. But in general, what it is that I have a lot of experience of how much water needs to go into the heavy body paint to thin it out, or how little needs to go into it for dry brushing. I have a video. If you've never painted before, I have a really amazing set of videos that are about where to start painting. On Facebook, it's the Tutorial Tuesday, the Technique Tuesday series. And on YouTube, you can find a Start Here playlist. And those are
Start Here.
They're both Start Here playlists. They were made at different times, but they're both Start Here, and they kind of cover the same stuff. It's just a way to help you if you haven't painted in a while, come into painting and feel very relaxed about it, because you probably took this up to relax and feel better generally. Express yourself, relax, feel better. And here in the middle of it going, why is this so frustrating? I started
Now,
this
what
to
size
feel
is
better.
the canvas? This is a small 8x8.
This is an 8x8 square canvas. Barbara from North Africa. That is really far.
Yeah, we have crew from all over, and Vinette is from India, and let's see.
That's
I saw folks.
exciting.
Yep, we had folks from all over the place.
I want to get a brush that is, I'm going to get one of my mops. I think I'm going to do a mop.
These are 8x8s, right?
Yeah,
Not
these
10
are
by
8x8s. No, but you could do this in any square size. The nice thing when I do a square painting
Is they're scalable.
is it's very scalable. It's probably the easiest for you to scale, and it will really allow you to adjust sizes for what you have, where sometimes changing it to a whole different aspect ratio can be a challenge. So this lets you go up to a 20 by 20, no problem, down to a teeny tiny, no problem. It's no problem, because the placement of objects will always remain. She'll always take up about this much of whatever canvas you're using. So you just kind of go, oh, well, she takes up about that much. You don't even have to worry about the math. Trust me, if I'm doing it, there are no maths involved. Now I'm going to get this brush. This is an oval mop. There are several out there. I'll show you. I've got some Royal and Lang nickel ovals. I've got a Princeton running around somewhere, but I don't see him. Maybe he's not clean. If he's not clean, he won't make it to the big show. But Princeton does one, and what you're looking for is a synthetic brush. It's kind of in this shape. This one happens to say Ultimate Varnish. It is my personal favorite of the mops, and it's fantastic for varnish, but I just found it was like the best blender, tree maker, fog maker, cloud maker on planet Earth, and it has become my friend. I'm going to pull out a little of my ultramarine blue. I'm going to get a smidge, interestingly enough, of my phthalo blue into this. Dip it some in water so it's kind of flowing out. And then I'm going to get a lot of white. So that it's very light, because this is an autumn day, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put in that background that we have here that's peeking through the trees. Now, blue and orange are amazing color combinations. I think it's one of the reasons so many of us like autumn is because this is the time of the blue and orange color combination. And it really allows us to enjoy what we've got going on. Now, the gray nature of this blue, and you can see I'm also kind of curving that stroke, because there's a bit of the woods coming around her that we get to have going on. I may get a little more blue into there. I'm going to just, there we go. So that looks pretty good. Rinse that out.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea says she's in Indiana. Now, while we're letting them have a minute, I want to do something with you guys. I want to do something with you. Take a minute for some gratitude. We're letting this dry. We have some of our painting in. Be grateful that we're here, that we have this time to be together. And let's all think about, this is just today. No politics. This is a happy moment. So what is happening today for you? How are you finding your joy today? What one thing is making this day a little bit better? Let's take a minute to think about that. What one thing is making this day a little bit better? John, what one thing is making this day a little bit better? You can't say me. Because he will do that as a husband. Because he knows who cooks the yummy foods.
The band, The Police.
The band, The Police, has made your day better?
Yes. You could also say that Kansas and AC/DC made my day better. But, yeah.
The band, The Police? So he's been listening to music. So music has made his day better. Getting ready for the show and thinking about you guys spending the week together has made my day better. It's keeping me focused on very positive things. So when I get to do these lessons with you, you make my day. So just throw up in the chat. Let's all just be there and how we're self-caring today. How is that going? I'm going to pick up my little brush here and I'm going to get it just a smidge wet again. Let's go into our brown, and I might even get some black into that. And it makes almost like a dark chocolate.
Mm.
Yeah. Dark chocolate. Not Tezonde. This is the paint. Nobody's singing or talking in a really cool voice today.
It's very nice to see our Sherpa family out here today.
It really is. I love it. There we go. We're getting a nice dark kind of value going there, and it can be, oh gosh, a little bit happening here.
Mama Moff is doing what I wish we could do right now.
Mama Moff?
She's sitting on the front porch, coffee in hand, blue skies, watching this tutorial. It's getting a little chilly outside.
Natalie's joy is that she's getting out of the hospital today. Congratulations, Natalie. So for everyone coming home from the hospital, you know what else? We have a couple birthday wishes. I'd like to wish moderator Craig a happy birthday. And I would like to wish Linda a happy birthday. Their birthdays today. And to anyone whose birthday is today, whenever you're watching the show, maybe it's today when it's live, maybe it's in the future, it is your birthday today. I hope you're having a happy birthday.
And to everyone else, a very merry unbirthday.
A very merry unbirthday?
Very merry unbirthday to you.
I don't buy this merry unbirthday nonsense that you speak of. But I'm going to find myself a round, number 4 Art Sherpa round, one of my very favorite brushes. And we're going to begin the business, my friends, of many, many little branches. Now, right here, I'm going to get a little blue and some of the 2 blues that I have here. We're making kind of a blue color. Don't put your brush in your coffee. I was about to. That would not be peaceful. Not peaceful at all. Let's get a little white into this. And we're going to come right here. We're going to go up from here about an inch. And I'm going to make 2 marks. This is going to help me start the beginning of this arch in. And let's just talk about trees a little bit. I'm going to press my brush in hard. And as I'm coming up, I'm going to release this brush stroke just a bit. And you can see that that makes a taper. This essentially, I know that crazy little mark, you're like, yay, you made a mark. What that does, what this crazy little mark does, is it gives you the basis of the tree. Your tree should be thicker at the bottom and become finer and thinner at the little tip. I'm going to maybe add a little twisting branch here. You can see I bring that around. Remember to make your branches long. Sometimes it's hard when you're new painting. You want to make short branches. I'm going to show you something in the tree because I can hide it in a minute. A lot of times when you're new and you try to make branches, you do the trident.
Barbara's mom may be the birthday winner today. Like, she's got an 88. She's turning 88 today.
Congratulations. That's a big birthday.
That's a good birthday. I like those matching numbers, you know?
Do you see how I fixed that trident there? That's how you fix that trident. Those are 8. John loves matching numbers.
See, that's an especially good one because it's the same when you're standing on your head.
Okay.
People underestimate the importance of that.
I think we all have underestimated the importance of that. You know, we're taking this little brush out. We're on the toe. John's really letting you see the stroke so you can duplicate it yourself. You'll notice that the brush isn't bending this far, right? If I bend that far, it's going to make the brush stroke very thick. So I've got to stay way on the toe. I imagine that my brush is a little ballerina. Your brush is a little ballerina.
The brush stroke really shows itself. I'm just here to help it along.
Well, I don't think I could do it without you. So this particular lesson is wonderful for helping you guys learn how to do these wonderful foresty little tree events. Linda with a Y says you're funny. So, I mean, Linda thinks you're funny. That's got to feel pretty good, sir.
Have a singular wit.
Have a singular wit. Do we need to have, since I'm working these two, do we have any place we can put the reference?
Yes. I can put the reference. See, for now, it'll go wing, and it'll pop up there. Let me see where else I can
You can also find the reference on our, there you go. There we go. Perfect. So you guys can kind of get a sense of what we're doing, what we're going for. You can also find references in the event on the Art Sherpa page, or you can find references on our website. I'm going to come out here and we're going to start to bring some more branches in. And you can see I bring them out very long on the toe of my brush. Thickest, the most pressure is at the beginning of the stroke, and then it lightens as it goes out. We're making a little grouping of woods. The trees are blue because when things are in a distance in the fog, they will tend to be the same color as their background. You're going to want to tangle some of this up. There's a little bit of tangling. Tangle all these little trees up. As they go into the woods, this is a very Tolkien kind of space.
Now, there's a lot of really good questions.
Some
are harder to answer live than others. So, like, there's a good question on how to ship paintings. One of the great places to post those up is in our Facebook group because we have some good support there on that.
Yeah, there's because everybody in the Facebook group really supports each other, and people are happy to share their successes. If you can't get into the group, like you're not into Facebook groups or whatever, and I understand that, check out the Just Paint blog by Golden Artist Colors and look up search shipping, and they will tell you the most correct archival museum safe way to ship. And then you can modify from there based on budget and time and interest in getting that fussy. Oh, Shelly says she's getting a foster dog, golden retriever. That's exciting. Let's do lots of these. There's just, you can't have too many, my friend. Can't have too many little trees.
Carrie, trees are my nemesis.
Trees are a lot of people's nemesis, Carrie.
What I'm going to say is they're a little misunderstood. The
They're
forking thing.
misunderstood.
Can you show them that forking thing?
Yeah, we'll do the forking thing again. So
That's
what
the
often
trick.
happens to a beginner is they do this when they're making trees.
Yes, that thing.
They do a fork. I'll show you how to correct it if you have a bunch of forks. If you have forked by accident, come back to the beginning of the stroke and take this stroke longer than you think. Wander this one out.
Their dreaded chicken foot.
And you can see just by doing that, I can make them feel off center.
Yeah.
And therefore start to create that feeling of a tree again. You know, the issue is, I think, for so many people, is that we sit under trees, we have a favorite tree, we have a tree from our childhood that we loved very much, and your mind has a lot of visual information around the idea of trees. So when that's true, it can be very hard to accept your own tree. You'll be very accepting of my trees and other people's trees, but your own tree you'll be so critical of.
We're all on the journey to accepting our own tree.
Yeah.
And today is one of those days where we all just need to be a tree hugger. So give your tree a hug.
Love your tree.
Big tree hugs today. Now, don't hug someone else's tree. That's too close. Hug your own tree. Gotta stay a branch distance away.
Now, if you'd like to share your results from today's painting, you can go pretty much anywhere on social media and hashtag in the Art Sherpa. What you can also come into, if you want a private place to share it where you know you're going to get supported, you can come into the Art Sherpa official group on Facebook, and that is the beginner-friendly place to share your tutorial artwork.
What is your inner tree?
My inner tree is an old oak tree with a knot in the center and a very low, heavy branch. And I know that because that tree I always see in my meditations, and I paint that tree a lot. And I don't know. I think that's my spirit tree.
I might be a ficus.
Ficuses are far too easy to care for. You are something exotic and displaced from your natural habitat. You're like an Australian tree fern. It's like, oh my gosh.
Thank you to everyone who's supporting us out here with all the support, super chat, and stars, guys. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. It really, really helps. It's super nice when you like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those wonderful things that you have to do. But also, the stars and the super chat really power our channel. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for stars and super chat. It really does help us. It lets us do programs like this. Our patronage, thank you to all the patronages that helped us get this program off the ground. We really appreciate you guys. I'm just coming in with a little more, and I'm just making some more like central little wiggly branches, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're making these. This is a twisted gnarly woods. So twisted gnarly woods should have lots of twisted branches. And they should weave into each other. That is looking pretty darn good. Now I'm going to dry this because the next layer of trees, I really, really, really don't want to blend into the trees underneath.
So I'm going to say, hey guys, in case you haven't heard the good word, don't use heat on your paint because it can cause all sorts of craziness. You all kind of know that stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that kind of stuff. Check out our website, TheArtSherpa.com, because we got all sorts of cool stuff out there for you guys.
Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. How are you guys feeling? I'm going to sip my coffee. Oh, I might need it heated up already, baby. I'm so sorry. John's other like unofficial job is to heat my coffee. Breathe in, breathe out. You're doing good. Just treat. And remember, it's also just art. You can't get it wrong. It's just your art. It's just you being creative. There is no ultimate goal. There's no pass-fail. There's no grading. Sometimes we forget that about art. But art is merely the process of creation and self-expression. The fact that other people like it is kind of a bonus, but that's not why we do. I pass you my coffee, my dove?
You can.
My darling. And we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do next. So if you look at the reference feature, you'll know that there are some more focal trees here. We have some fall leaves, and we have a lot going on here. And to that end, I will sketch in, this is not my final drawing, but just to let me know the space in which I expect my princess to exist, because she really takes up, if you say this is the top of her head into the arch, which is like, let's look at how far down this is on our surface. If this were inches, it's just it's 2¼ inches from the top, or in centimeters, this is, I think this is 7½ centimeters, something close. I don't know. I'm sure an online conversion is better. So she would be about that high, and her head actually doesn't take up a tremendous amount of space, right? It's pretty small. Pretty small, and even her shoulders and everything. So when she comes down here, what takes up the space is her dress. And if you look, if her waist is here, and you may wonder, you know where her waist is? Because most human figures are 6 to 8 heads high. Models tend to be drawn 8 heads high. Realistic human figures tend to be done in the 6 to 7 head range. So if you think that there's her head, a little space for neck, and then another head, that second head is generally where the waist will go. Knowing that, I know that her dress takes up almost, goodness gracious, almost all of the surface. Down below, it's like a river of blue flowing in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So being aware of that, when I'm painting, I know that I don't want to work my very hardest where I'm going to be painting over that work, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be working my very, very hardest. And the other thing we have is we have grasses and things here. And then we also have an interesting sort of bush area that comes up even over our trees. Right? So it kind of comes in and takes up the space. So those are the zones. The next thing we would want to do is put in a little bit of these distant grasses that we see. I'm going to take a grass comb. This is a grass comb filbert. And I am going to get a little bit of the white and a smidge of my blue. Let me show you. I'm going to come here and
hold on there.
Paint some little distant grasses.
Distant grasses.
Little distant grasses. Too much water on the brush. That'll happen. If you don't have a grass comb, right, you can take any brush you have, including your round. I'll show you with the round real quick. And just very carefully paint in some little grass areas. And you can see they're both good. They're both good. There's always a way. There's never just a single way to do your technique. Golden glazing liquid helps slow down the drying time. That is correct. I see someone giving that advice. I missed who it was, but I think that's fabulous advice because golden glazing liquid does.
It's totally okay to use like a fan brush here.
You could use a fan brush right here. Use a lot of things. There are many, many brushes. There's only one you. There's many, many brushes. Going with a little bit of my blue for the grass. And blend that in. You can take a filbert on its edge or an angle brush. I'm just wanting to create a little bit of grass. Now the grass comb, I was working on a quest, a big art quest, which is our sort of free art school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on something called Grass Quest and tested every single brush.
Oh, wow.
For grass and have decided this is my favorite. Prefer to.
You preferred.
Yeah. But there wasn't a brush. Here's the other thing. I tested 30. There wasn't a brush I couldn't make grass with. I just had some that I found more fun. Maybe a little more blue. I always want to make sure that there's some shadow in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Now we're doing a bunch of updates here to our patronage program.
Mm-hmm.
And some folks were asking I didn't catch it earlier, where we have if you go to our artsherpa.com/patron, you can find all those programs. But if you're already in the patronage, you should stay tuned on your dashboard because we'll have updates there on the what do they call that? Newsletter thing.
On the newsletter.
There we go.
If you don't get our newsletter for the Art Sherpa, you really should. I send them out. I don't send them out to, I don't sell any advertising in my newsletter. There's no ads in it.
Just us.
There's just us. And I generally tell you upcoming classes, give you links so you can find them easy, give you resources like materials or traceables so you can find those easier. Let you know if there's anything cool that's going on that you might want to participate in, heads up for any changes. Just anything you need to know, that's the newsletter.
All right.
There's no sales in the newsletter.
Well.
All right. This is looking pretty good, right? So we got that nice little area. Now, we've got to make a bunch of little leafies and bushies. And there comes this brush again. Interestingly enough, I'm also going to show you this incredibly cheap and horrible brush, which also does a pretty good job. So these are very different tools, and yet they'll both do a good job. Now, with this one, I'll show you the very inexpensive brush first, and then I'm going to get into my very favorite. I'm going to show you the inexpensive brush first. I never want you to go, oh man, I can't do that. I can't do that at all, because you know what? And get a little blue into that burnt umber. And come here. And see, I'm just pressing down. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? I think it's like this is a 1/2 inch. This one is a silver brush bristle, but I'm telling you what, these are, look, I've seen these in so many craft stores. Your issue with bristle brushes is if the bristles fall out. How you prevent that is you vigorously wash your bristle brush before your first use. And then, there we go. Beginnings of these distant little bushes. Actually, I really like the inexpensive brush. It's just a bristle hog brush. It can start to feel like when you're new to painting that you've got to have a specific color, a specific tool, or a specific technique to have any success. And in my experience, and this is pretty considerable experience, we won't even go into how experienced. I've been here a minute, and what I can tell you is there's always another way. There's always another technique. Always another thing to learn. It never ends. I'm going to turn this a little bit, Joe. That's why I like my little turntable. How are you guys doing? Wonderful. Feel amazing. And remember, if you're having any trouble watching on one platform, just switch to the other platform. And they will be on replay on both. There we go. Little irregular bushes. I didn't even do my cool little brushy brush. This is kind of exciting to me because I think this thing is like 50 cents. I'm going to get into a little of my burnt sienna. And I'm going to tip that. And you can see against the deep brown, look how very bright the burnt sienna is. A lot of landscape painters used to treat burnt sienna as a red. Trick with doing the stamping up and down, this is a stippling thing, is just to make sure that as you're stippling, don't get rid of all the shadow. That's what gives us form, right? That's what gives everything kind of a little raison d'etre. Shadow. Lets everything show. Without the shadow, there is no light. There's just nothing. Breathing easy. Stippling up and down. Feeling good. 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 You're good. Okay. Now let's put some ruffly little leaves down here, shall we?
Yeah.
We're going to come down and we're going to just look, just push. And it doesn't even matter that we're hurting the brush because we're like, yeah, you're a cheap brush. Cheap brush. You can take it. Doesn't that look good? You guys see it? There we go. You're doing wonderful. You're fantastic. Just stippling up and down. You can do this. Loading up. Notice when I load, if you're really new to painting, I do want you to pay attention to this. I work the outside edges of my paint and I load from the edges. And that helps preserve my paint. Keeps the colors clear so that I have those. Now I'm going to do a little trick because I don't know about you, but I have heat on and other things that are drying out my air. So I took a micro mister and I just misted my palette just so the paint wouldn't dry out on me so fast.
There's a question that came up that I don't think, did you see with Lindsay? Okay. So she's stuck on the underpainting right now, and she's had the video on pause for about 10 minutes because she has a new mop brush that she bought, and it's shedding super bad. And she wanted to know, should she wait until the paint dries or pick it off when it's wet?
I very carefully with tweezers or toothpick, remove it when it's wet, get another brush and smooth out the paint. Otherwise, it'll leave the little hair. It leaves like a little hair imprint.
Okay.
Right? And then take your mop brush to the sink and dawn it and vigorously into the palm of your hand, wash it out. And then when it's all washed out, see if you're still pulling hairs loose. If you're still pulling hairs loose, send the brush back to the manufacturer. They have messed up. But it isn't you. It is them. So, inexpensive, crazy hog brush continues on.
They have purpose.
They have purpose. I'm going to take a little bit of my ultramarine and my magenta together, and they're going to make a nice little purple. And I'm going to get into my zinc. Zinc is a nice thing. You can use mixing white as well. It lets you, I get thoroughly mixed in there. It lets you lighten a color without changing the nature of the hue. A little bit of purple up there in that. There we go. A little bit of purple. Just a hint. It'll help some of the colors pop when you come back in. Rinse out. Just fun distant bushes. Fun stuff. I can get a little of my magenta and cad red together. It's magenta and cad red medium. Some wonderful colors. And let's just get these wonderful bushes. And they're just gorgeous, aren't they? They're just becoming these beautiful distant little bushes. Just the edges. This is so fun. Now I'm going to get a little of my magenta and cad red, and I'm going to come here and kind of stipple down my hill. I'm going to, from here back, leave a little bit of the brown because we're going to say that the brighter part of the hill is up here. So, and cad red, mostly magenta, and I'm just stippling up and down. That's creating a nice little forest floor. Once again. Look how jacked up this little brush looks. You know, we forget tools are wonderful and tools are important, but the only irreplaceable thing in the painting is you. You're the only thing that can't be. All the other stuff can be exchanged, replaced, or, changed out. You are irreplaceable. Now take a deep breath. You're going to keep painting. It's going to be wonderful. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my red and some of my yellow and a little of my burnt sienna. That's a terrific fall color. Mm-hmm. And add that to my forest floor. That was a little yellow, cad red medium, and burnt sienna. We don't take out the deep values because the deep values help us create form and shape. I'm going to get a little of my ultramarine into this. And this is sort of like a deadened purple. I'm going to get my zinc so we can see it. I'm going to just brush out on the forest floor. We're done. A little bit of that crazy color. Crazy color, kids.
There we go. Lindsay has a very topical question for you, Sherpa. Is it normal to take a break?
It's very normal to take a break. And you should, especially if you're feeling any pain.
But just in the meta sense, is it okay to sit down and walk away from your artwork for more than just a red hot second?
Yes, you should. That's how you think about it. That's how you see it, is taking a little break from it, is re-examining.
What if but if you take a week off or a month off, or
painting will be there when you get back.
But won't your skills just go to seed, the field just overgrows?
They
and you
don't
have
go
no more...
to seed. So what happens is if you take an extended period off, all those skills are still inside you. You may need a week to warm back up, like stretching, a little bit of time. It'll come back really, really fast, especially if you get back to painting pretty regularly again. Those skills and those things will come back into your life. Now let's dry this up thoroughly.
Dry it thoroughly. So thank you guys for joining us. I know we got folks from all over the world, and it's nice to see you guys. I'm very happy to share what we do with folks from all corners of this square globe we live on. There you go.
What am I going?
I don't know. It's your show. I'm just co-hosting.
Okay.
Wherever you go, there I follow.
There you follow. I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and a little bit of my burnt sienna together. A bit. I want to create a pretty dark color. I'm going to make sure that I have a deep sort of shadow before that little bit of road, so that there's some form there. It's light, not heavy. Don't be heavy. Okay, I'm digging. I don't think I can release this inexpensive brush. It's too wonderful. I'm going to take a little bit of my cad red and my cad orange. And we're going to just touch a little bit some tops of leaves. Aren't those bright?
There's an unexpected declaration from Wales.
What is the declaration from Wales?
They're up in the house.
Wales in the house.
No, that's unexpected. A declaration from Wales to be up in the house.
Tammy says, me 3.
But go Wales.
Go Wales.
I'm hoping it's 4 on the floor.
What do you mean about not applying heat and put on air only? So acrylic is very heat sensitive. And when you have the hot setting on your hair dryer, it will make the surface of the paint a bit soft and impressionable. So if you're trying to sketch on it, if you're trying to do anything, you can actually create a permanent indent in the paint. So if you're gritting or doing some sketching thing, you can find yourself with this impression left over.
Ooh.
And also sometimes with certain paints, especially if they're very inexpensive, there can be a color shift that's very intense. So that's why I tend to mention things as a teacher because I realize that there's a whole litany of things that I know that I have experience with that if you're new to painting, you might not know. And so I try to mention all those little micro decisions.
This is an important one.
Okay.
How do you keep her from looking like she's walking down a hill?
Well, if you really think about her, right? It's the scale of everything. The photograph, the reference, your painting, everything is flat. And so the way objects relate to each other is how our eye interprets the positioning, if they're up, if they're down, if they're far away, if they're close. And so her body being small and diminished and the skirt coming out and the way that everything is curving in is going to make it feel like she's at a slight incline, not a decline.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to do that for us. I'm going to take a little bit more of a little of our yellow into that. I feel like push it a little bit further. Just let's push the fall further. Just a bit because we'll enjoy it so much. Just at these tips here. Maybe a little bit right here. Edge of the hill, just a little bit of bright pop of fall. Brighter than expected. And it's just looking nicer and nicer as we go.
I know.
Nicer and nicer as we go. We're back to branches. Bad news, friends.
Scandrel is like having a great time. It's all over. It's like over in Wales, and I'm kicking it over here, but it's
kicking
raining.
It in Wales.
See, the problem is I feel like we're Americans, so John Oliver represents all British men. So now I have a picture of John Oliver kicking it in Wales while it's raining.
All right. I haven't painted since COVID started, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting started again. I hope my mojo comes back soon, says Sharon. Look, we're stressed. Your kids are probably stressed. Your stressed family members. We are all, common enemy is COVID, right? And the stress. And we're all sharing it right now across the globe together, right? And we all understand. It's so not unusual. It may take you a little time to come back, and that's normal. Everybody responds to stress differently. Me, things are stressful. I need to get into the studio and I gotta paint. If I'm crying, if I'm freaking out, I gotta paint. That isn't everybody, right? Some people they need to just kind of push everything back, and they're not in a place where they can give their heart to their creativity, and they have to push that back a little bit. That's okay. As things get better, and they will get better, that creativity will come back. It will. It may not feel like it will, but it will. Are we ready to keep going, sir?
I think so.
All right, I'm going to get my number 4 round again. So just to go over what we've used so far, we've used the cheap half-inch bristle brush by Silver Brush Limited. And I really mean these are inexpensive. I have used the half-inch filbert grass comb. If you've never seen one of these, if it's in budget, you should grab one. If it's not, later on when it is in budget, grab one. I have used a number 26 Ruby Satin Bright and an Ultimate Varnish 1-inch brush. This is where we're at so far.
Tina, she just threw an underhanded ball for me. Maybe could you remind everyone about the coloring book?
Oh, Tina.
But we will at the end. There's just a coloring book on our website, TheArtSherpa.com/store. We're totally bad at self-promotion.
We were actually talking about that today.
It's either we do it with a giant ham-fisted punch, or
not
we forget
at all.
Completely to do it.
We're using darker colors because these darker colors, besides creating a sense of it being kind of a scarier little forest, you can see how I'm pulling little branches out. Feel free to pull all the little branches that you want. Thicken that trunk down here and maybe just on the toe of this brush. Toe means the very tippy tip.
Tippy tippy toe.
You need to thicken up a branch. Then you come back and you go, oh no, branch. Please be thicker. I can put lots of little other branches off. Because a branch can only support the weight. It can only support smaller branches than itself. It cannot support bigger branches. And the trunk has to be big enough and strong enough to support everything hanging off the tree. Trees get easier with practice, but it does take practice to get more proficient at them. Don't feel bad that it's going to take you a minute to kind of learn your process. Okay. Okay. To not know how to do everything day one right away. Right? All the things we're
I'm gonna have to adjust your mic. You're talking soft today.
Am I talking so soft? I'm trying to be calm.
You know what it is?
Is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have a very calm vibe.
So, and you do have a calm vibe, but I have adjusted your microphone.
For my usual loud, obnoxious voice.
Well, what it is so as soon as you get quieter, the microphone's like, I can't hear you, Sherpa.
Doesn't believe in me anymore.
Oh, it believes in you. It just can't hear you.
I don't think it believes in me.
I believe you can paint.
That's a theory. That's the theory. That's why we have the show, right?
I believe you can blend
one morning
the
tell
sky.
yourself there's nothing better, and then just do the painting. That is a good idea. You and John have such huge... Wait, where did that go? That was so sweet. Sue says, you're amazing, Cinnamon. You and John have such huge hearts. Thank you for all you do. Thank you guys for all you do. We would not have this program without you, this idea that we could help people paint around the world and we could teach them to paint. It's only possible because you guys support it. You tell your friends, you show up at lives, you share your artwork, and you like, hey, I got this from a tutorial. I mean, you guys got the word out there. It's you. You're the wind beneath my wings, seriously.
Got to be on those 90s song tropes.
Maybe. I'm going to put some little branchy branches here. Just little twigs. These are like little bushies. And they're fun to do. And you can see they all go together and they start to weave and be a thing, don't they? And we can make these woods dark and deep. These woods are lovely, dark and deep. Those go. They look good. They look good. Let's do some on the other side.
On the other side. Oh. Now, this is one of those places where it's important to have not only atmospheric perspective, and that's where the things farther away are fuzzy or
yeah, they're less focused.
foggy.
They're desaturated. They're not as bright.
And
maybe they're in the fog. Yeah.
Then there's the other one, which not atmospheric. It's the one that gets smaller. What's that called?
That's linear perspective.
Linear perspective. Okay. So the things farther away are smaller, and things closer are bigger.
Yeah. The way the objects relate to each other. I made a little broken branch there. I kind of dig it. Dig it, dig it, dig it.
And the higher you move the horizon line on her, that'll really help determine where she's walking, like uphill or downhill. That'll help that.
That's why it's nice to have the grass line up here.
Yeah.
That's why you add the grass, right? If you're having trouble seeing that, you just get in there and you're like,
grass, 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 grass.
That's going to make her be right there. She's moving into that space. You can even... Sometimes it's hard to see. You just make it possible for yourself to see. You can always come back with anything. You can always be like, oh, no, no, no. See there. There we go.
Nancy was also, remember when you had discovered 2020 as a swear word?
2020 is a swear word, man. 2020 is just let me down on a level. I don't know if I'm ever going to speak to the calendar again.
You know what? There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. And that's what this is about today. We're just putting it down. We know there's stuff to be worried about.
Although I am giving up on this year and just going to say there's always next year. So just, we'll just.
But right now, this week, there's a lot to be grateful for. We're doing things for self-care. You guys are self-caring, right?
Self-care.
And if you've never heard of this concept, self-care, because I'm making an assumption that you have, maybe you haven't. The idea is that you cannot give what you do not have. You will never be sad enough to make other people happy. You will never be sick enough to make other people well. And you will never be poor enough to make other people rich. You cannot give what you don't have. So it's important that we all take a minute sometimes and do the things that restore us so that we can be the best in the world that we can be. We can give the most that we have. But if you deplete yourself out to zero, you will have nothing left to give.
Mm-hmm.
All the healthcare workers are like, yeah, but this year's is a little tough.
Yeah. PJ,
And we get that.
I love PJ. The greatest self-reflective moment of 2020 is, why did I buy a 2020 planner?
I don't know what I would even write in my plan. That's being branches. That is so super funny. Thank you for that. I needed
you could have a little tab indicator. Just put on the tab the before time. Just insert it in there.
It's gonna be okay. Let's make a nice little tree here, and maybe
hold on.
A little bit wandery. Let's make a little wandering tree. Hello, fellow.
Now you're back to the serious trees.
Trees are serious biz, sir.
I've had my laugh. I'm treeing now.
I'm treeing. Okay, that's true. Pauline is doing laugh emojis.
You can't defeat multiple gears.
2020 planner. As a person whose parents were into Zig Ziglar and Anthony Robbins and all the peoples that do the people things of the positive thinkings, I have definitely been introduced to the concept of a planner because, before, I don't know, cell phones, that's what you had.
Yeah, some folks didn't catch what I said. What I said to the Sherpa was, PJ had asked, why did I even buying a 2020 planner? And that's what just caused the Sherpa to break up there. So.
Oh, the best laid plans of mice and men. It will get better.
Look, it was one of those things. You could fairly predictably say, every year in the past I have needed a planner. Why would I not need a planner this year?
So one of my favorite shows is a show called Blackish. And I've watched it since it came on. Actually, I found out I watched everything this writer has ever done. I just didn't know it was all that same writer. And I have noticed that as the response of this creative team to 2020 has been so funny. It was like everybody on the creative team went, ah!
There's been
you can feel it in the show. They've all they're where we are. And I felt it. I was like, I feel your pain. Okay, this is how into it. I follow the kids on Twitter. I want to give them encouragement. They're amazing. They're talented. I want them to thrive. Let's just put lots of little twigs and things in, right? Little twigs that this is the dark twigs. They could catch her skirt or her dress, right? And do things. So rough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a little of my red and magenta. is so funny, so funny, so funny. We're going to add some little leaves. In my experience, it's okay. Almost have these like, they almost float. Because there's little tiny. Maybe there's a little patch of them. This is pretty far into the autumn season, heading towards winter. Right? Back through the woods to the farmhouse. A life not enjoyed. And you can see as we put leaves, it then also creates a sense that some objects are further back. I'll do the same on this side. I'm just going to come find them at the edge of little branches. Now remember, I don't expect you to draw. So there's a traceable for all the projects already done. A complete material list for the watercolors, for the acrylic lessons, for all of it is already there for you. You can find that info on the website, on the event in Facebook, on the Art Sherpa page. I try not to hide it from you. I do my best not to hide materials from you guys, because that seems mean. And come rinse out, and let's put some lighter little leaves in there that kind of pop. I'm going to take a little of my yellow.
Popping leaves.
There. It'll make the dress seem beautiful. And, you know, we're not rushing through the woods because it's the full composition that makes it work. Right? If you rush through what makes the composition work, you won't enjoy the painting as much. Sometimes it's important to slow down and know where you're going. I love doing that. It's fun to like look and go, where could I put another little collection of these? Because we're not just painting leaves, we're also balancing like orange. Where's orange go? Little thought out leaves. There we go. Rinse that out. It's a good time. Will this be posted on YouTube? But I would love to do it. I am at work. Yes, Erin, it is on YouTube, Facebook. It's all the places. So either place, and there's a playlist. So there'll be a playlist here on Facebook, and there'll be a playlist on YouTube. Findable. Can I get you to heat my coffee again, sir?
You can.
You can. Lori says she loves how I explain the whys, and I'm really glad that you do. I always wonder, like, am I just getting too weird and deep into this?
We've had
I'm excited to do this one, says Joni, and she asked if it's a 12 by 12 canvas. No, this is an 8 by 8, but this would work beautifully on a 12 by 12 or 20 by 20 or 40 by 40. Oh my gosh, a 40 by 40 would be so pretty. All you have to do is just scale it. But when you're thinking about the scale, you just go, okay, no matter what the size of the canvas is, she's just a little bit above the halfway point as her head. and her skirt is almost to the edges of the sides, and her waist is, she's got two heads before her waist, and you're there. You're there. Speaking of, as John hates, I'm going to come in and kind of take my chalk pencil. This is a General's pastel chalk pencil. Just sort of give myself a little bit of a beginning of the drawing. Now, whenever I do a figure, I like to create a little hanger that comes out on either side of the head to build a structure for the shoulders. Right? And that's going to make it easier for me to find that. In this particular case, her elbows almost come in and then go out. And the elbows would be going into the waist. And then the dress comes around the hands, comes in, flows back this way. There's a wonderful, oh, I might have gotten a little big there, but I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it. Same thing here. Where's the hand? Hand would be right there. Dress must come in. And flow. This is almost like fashion illustration, which makes it really fun. I very much enjoy it. Let's talk about the skin tone. Just give me some fresh water. And so I'm going to, oh, fresh coffee too. I love that. Oh, how are you doing? Breathe in. Breathe out. I want to share something with you. Need to resize to another size canvas. There's an app to help with this. Rapid Resizers is calling me. Yeah, Rapid Resizer is an amazing resource. Let me read this to you. We're going to talk about this each day. All right? If you're having a hard time right now, take a minute, take a deep breath in. And this, I heard this, and it reminded me of my favorite story, because it's from one of my favorite stories, and how it keeps us present in our lives. This is from Lord of the Rings. There, peeping among the cloud wreck, above a dark or high up in the mountains, Sam saw a white star twinkle for a while. The beauty of it smote his heart as he looked out of the forsaken land, and hope returned to him. Like a shaft clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty far ever beyond its reach. I just love that. And that reminded me that it's easy to be caught in the moment for what is happening now. Because it's relevant, it's pertinent, it's happening right now. But to keep in mind that there are things, there is beauty, there are moments that just beyond the reach of the things that are making our lives harder. And sometimes hope is like a life raft. It's important to find those things that we can find hope in. And painting is a great way to do that for sure. And taking time for ourselves and self-care and making sure we're prioritizing the things that help us find our center when the world feels so topsy-turvy. It's very important. Coffee is one of mine. You know, so it's important and wonderful to be reminded of the things that are going okay. Now I'm going to take my number 4 brush. And just real quick, I'm going to put in her skin tone. And let's talk about her skin tone. Let's take out a little of my yellow ochre. Get a little of my quinacridone. Mix these two together. And make kind of a little tomato rose color. I have a lot of videos on skin tones and hair, so you can customize as needed. But this sort of little color right there is what you're going to want. And then we really need it to be a bit light. So I'm going to come into my titanium white, just a smidge of this. And you're going to see a little bit of it goes a long way. And there you go. Nice basic skin color. Now you can buy skin tone in many, many paint lines. You absolutely can. But sometimes it's nice to be able to mix your own. Just paint that right there and up the neck. There's the corner. Now, if you don't want to draw the figure, remember we've got a traceable, so you can absolutely use the traceable. And I've got a whole video on how to use a traceable. If you've never done it before, you don't have to worry in any way.
If you were wondering where that poem and verse came from, it was Tolkien. And it It was when was it Samwise?
Mm-hmm.
Samwise.
Sam, when they were in Mordor, and all seemed lost.
Yeah. So it was not so much a poem as much it was just a
Perfect quote.
It was just a quote from the.
But if you understand why he wrote that book, what was happening in his life when he wrote it, it's pertinent. It's about that human experience. How do we handle bringing these two little arms back? Because we know they will be back. Elbows will be back. And come like this. So they bend in at the waist. Come down to where the hand is. I'm going to dry that and do a second coat so it's nice and smooth.
Yep. So that was Tolkien. He's just a good writer. Just a good writer. Not like he was any good at world building or character development or, nonlinear conceptual development.
All right. Now, here on the high part of the shoulder, let's get a little more yellow into that even. We will. This nice light color. This is at the top of the shoulders and above the shoulder blade. Nice light color. On the arm, coming back to the elbow is quite light. And then underneath the elbow, let's get our darker color going. I want something quite dark. You can add a little bit of a shadow coming into the crease of the arm. I don't know, if you've never heard my explanation, just do the hand as a little paddle. You're not going to be able to get tiny, tiny little detail out on this. And so all you can do is the values and the basic shape. And luckily your brain will very much want to make it what it is. So a little bit of a kind of shoulder blade shadow right here. And back into a lighter color, coming back. And then when we put our dress in, it's amazing how this is all going to find its way. Light, light, light. Another little trick. Right here at the elbow. Highlight, highlight. If you highlight that elbow, it really, really helps it. I can even take the dark skin tone in a little bit. I can add some burnt umber to it. And bring that into the inside. Just keep that little values there. There we go. The base.
Interstellar.
Huh?
55, 55.
What?
It's interstellar.
55, 55. I'm going to take a little of my ultramarine blue and my phthalo blue. And some titanium white. And we're not going to worry about Prussian or any of that. I think we're going to be able to do this incredible blue without either. Come here and we're going to just put the basis of the dress in. I'm still using my number 4 round.
Folks have been waiting for this part. I don't want to miss this.
Yeah.
This
is hand, you're going to need to be pretty careful because you're going to bring a little bit of the fabric bending around the hand. There you go. And initially, just flow almost like a river. This is going to be our darkest value of the dress. These are going to be the deep shadows, and we'll paint lighter and lighter as we go. It'll just also give us some lovely coverage. And what you see me doing when I'm rolling is I'm trying to keep the paint out from the ferrule, just so I can stay in control of the paint. You want to stay in control of the paint. Important to do. Bring the dress around the hand, and it will make its own explanation because the hand will then feel very caught in the fabric. So that was one of the reasons why I felt like this was an acceptable reference for new students, is because even if the hands were really hard, you could hide them in the fabric pretty easily or in front.
This is great. I mean, you've done, so like people are really here for the dress. There have been lots of folks who, you've seen the girl done before, but this dress from behind, it's a
special
is the main
dress.
Show.
It is.
Like,
right, I've got to get this really down to the point. He's right though. We haven't done this dress. We have not. So we're going to bring the sleeves here. There we go. Little sleeve. Little sleeve. And the V in the back. There you go. She's already starting to come to life, isn't she? Just flowing. We'll get highlights. We'll get lowlights. It is ultramarine and phthalo blue. Ultramarine tends to be a little red chalky, and phthalo blue tends to be a little turquoise. Mixing them together creates a very bright neutral blue. And again, this dark value that you're seeing here is the shadow of the dress. It is just what's called the underpainting. It isn't the goal of where we're going. It just gives us the structure to create the details. If you were there for the D&D painting yesterday, you would have been like, oh, okay, everything is about creating the structure for those bubbles. Bubbles themselves, right? It's just about fussy little painting. And we're going to do some fussy painting. But even the swirling motion of this will help inform our dress as we go. So, blue, blue. No. Taking that to the white. This is the titanium white. This is the strong white. And we're going to come here. Add a little bit of a highlight there. One here. These are going to be
okay.
the little blues coming back.
Ollie asks a really good question. So, how do you keep the colors bright and poppy when painting on a dark color?
If you have student paints, you will have to paint a light basis, and sometimes I'll show you that. That's why the other reason we do a blue basis underneath, right? Because now what's coming through, this blue will take the hard hit of the reds underneath, even if you're doing student, and then you can lighten up blue. If you have really, really inexpensive paints, you may need to paint areas that you want bright white first.
So, yeah, if you do a little bit of blocking out of white, then it helps out.
It really does. Let's create these little flows. Little folds of fabric that are happening.
Joni did your Little Red Riding Hood, but painted her hood green.
Oh, what a wonderful
Made her
idea.
kind of wintry.
Did you do the one running into the wood? Okay, so there's
There's several. So there's
it's its own playlist because apparently I'm obsessed. I'm
By the
obsessed
way,
with it as an art topic.
I have such a wonderful thing, but I can't talk to you about it because it's a new thing. And my secret projects, I have so many secret projects that when I start to tell Cinnamon about too many of them, it becomes stressful.
Yeah. I got a lot to do in the weeks.
So we don't talk about too many secret projects. That's why they got to be secret between you and me. Just us. Shh, don't tell the Sherpa. And we're going to do that in a way on the patron dashboard that's coming up so we can have those secret conversations and not upset Cinnamon. Just don't tell her.
Don't feed the artist. Is that your version of that?
This is a calm and not stressful place. We're not going to talk about secret projects.
See how the dress is folding together. We're taking our highlights and we're flowing them down. There's a little run of them that flow here. When you allow the shadows to come out, that's how you get the folds of the fabric. We need the shadows to create the folds. Oh, I love this dress.
It's a very good dress.
Very good dress. Very, very, very good dress. So if you're wondering, Cinderella Blue is... Where's the Cinderella Blue in this, right?
Have to watch your lean and...
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Just letting you know. This is where those detail moments where you should rotate it when you need it rotated. Because I can move the camera. And if you get too detailed and don't move that, you start to stress your arm out.
True. I do start to stress my arm out.
See, Patty's, it's not encouragement that makes my secret projects multiply. They're like tribbles. They just do. So, it's a thing.
How is she looking? She's looking pretty good, guys.
Well, she's a spinning.
I just got to find an angle with which I can talk about how maybe like certain bits of the fabric fold together.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even gotten any of the turquoise colors going into it, which is just the phthalo blue and
All right.
she's doing okay. A little bit here. Yeah. One last bit over there, and then we get into the just the phthalo. I'm going to dry it, so when I come in with the phthalo, it looks really, really nice.
So, oh my, this is turning out to be so nice. And I'm really glad you guys are here with us. We really appreciate you joining us. This has been a really fun day. Getting some really neat stuff done. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button and the bell, because if you ring the bell, then you get the notifications. If you don't get the notifications, then you can't get the thing. Oh, and if you need text notifications, whoosh, you can text the Art Sherpa 233 222. That's the second 2 down there. See all the 2s? 33222. All those 2s. Send those 2s to the Art Sherpa. And
So
then
now
you
we're going
can,
to take our phthalo blue, and I've got my zinc. And we're going
Sherpa's
to
like,
use this blue.
on to
You
the
could,
lesson. Get out of my way. I'm painting.
what?
No more promotion. Got to teach
Oh
painting.
my gosh, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
fine.
going to sip some coffee. It's okay.
You're doing a good job. I was saying while you were away that they're very excited about this dress because it's very, very cool.
It is a beautiful dress. Let's come up here to the waist. This is our phthalo blue green shade. And we're going to be coming right here. And just a little bit of zinc white, phthalo blue green shade. Darker there at the side. Zinc white.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
Let's take in a little more of the blue. What's cool? What's cool?
We had a whole bunch of extra viewers show up
Where?
on YouTube.
Hi! We teach art for free. Hang out. Hit the sub button.
Welcome to join
You don't
our
have
channel.
to. You just need a minute to just have a calm space. That's okay too. We're happy to have you. Welcome to our channel.
It's
Kind of like welcome to our home, but our
There's a few
cookies
of
are
us.
imaginary.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if they're into the the blue channel.
It is really fun. So
It
we're
is really
coming
fun.
back. The reason we're playing these two blues against each other is that there is a red cast to ultramarine blue and there is a green cast to phthalo blue. And by playing those against each other, you can create a sense of things being more blue than they actually are. Pretty much the blue that we all thought Yinmin blue was going to be. But
So-
wasn't.
At first, I was thinking that this might have been a not nice raid, but I think that it might be a very pleasant thing because there's a bunch of friends coming over here to visit us, I think from a gaming channel. And
Hi! I love gaming. What are you playing? What are you guys doing today?
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is that at first, so I apologize for all of our initial response for if any of you guys were
Wait, you didn't do something to
we were
did you?
bouncing a whole bunch of people. 'Cause at first we thought
I'm so sorry.
so at first, folks, you don't understand. We don't generally have a whole lot of folks that just sort of turn up like this. So at first, our moderators just went ahead and started
Oh no, we've got to be a little more mellow, guys.
It was a little misunderstanding. I think you didn't understand how many people showed up. It was
Did they all leave?
no, there's just a bunch of folks here, but they all came over and said hello and
Hello.
then left. So thank you guys for coming over and saying
Well,
hello.
if they left and then
Well, I think it was just it's one of those things where they all come over and say hello, and then they all go back. It's just a raid thing that happens.
okay.
And so
Well, I
it's-
appreciate that.
We do
Thank you
appreciate
for
coming
rating
and
us
saying-
if they're still here, but if we bounced them all, I'm happy. Thank you, guys.
So we're sorry if you got bounced,
So
but it was a side effect of the raid, guys. It happens, but we love you. So thank you for coming by.
Are you sure you're talking? If you bounced them, who are you talking to?
Okay, so this was just general folks.
Oh,
So some
I'm
folks were
just-
sent over from another channel to say hello. It's a
have
raid.
cookies.
Have cookies. Stay and watch a show.
Okay. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm going to go back to teaching art
Teach
because
the
that's
show.
what I do on YouTube.
That's what you do.
So we're coming here and we're just finding little spots, as you can see, to define the shadow. The shadow is more of a phthalo blue with a little bit of a zinc. And we put it over our already existing shadow. And as you can see, that just builds that up beautifully. We fold that fabric around. It's just coming down. It's just flowing off the canvas, which we love. Now I'm going to take a little of just a tiny amount of my phthalo blue. Just a tiny, tiny. We're going to come here and make a very, very light blue. And you can see how light that is. It's super light, guys. What's funny?
It's like we had a flash mob from our friends in Pakistan who came over and were like, hello!
Add a little highlight there. There's a couple places we want to just add some bright highlight. And it's important to keep these light and fine, so that the fabric is reflected in the way that it is light and fine. See how we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Show the little creepy folds of the fabric. These things are worth taking time on. You know, so give yourself the time to paint the folds. You won't be sorry that you did. Glad that you did. You'll be super glad that you did. A little extra time here and there goes a long, long way. A little more blue. Let's pull some little light highlights. See how delicate these are? These are very delicate lines. They're little kisses of highlight. Sometimes we just have to kiss the canvas. It just needs a little love from us. Just gently with this. Gently fold the blue. I mean, Princess has a great dress, right? So we got to give her a great dress. There we go. Got a nice little curve and line there. Building, building, building. The dress just builds up. Let's make sure we put a little bit there, a little bit there, so it's everywhere. There we go. Just moving that along.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah, we're almost done, guys. We are just coming to the end of this beautiful painting. We get to do her hair in just a second. Look at that dress. Blue, 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 blue. How blue is your dress? So blue. All right, now on the hair, I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow ochre, and I'm going to shock you guys a little bit. We're going to put some burnt umber into this. Burnt umber and the yellow ochre. You can see that we're thinning it. I'm rolling my brush. And the hair, there's a roll coming back, so we're going to do this roll. And I find that it's okay to do a brush stroke that implies the hairstyle. You can see I'm kind of curving in these little comma strokes. What's funny?
Some folks were a little distracted by what happened in chat.
Was everything okay?
It's great. No.
Okay.
It's what happened is that a gamer told all his community to come over and say, "Hey, go shout out to the Sherpa because we think she's awesome." So about 500 people all came over and started shouting out hello, which flooded the chat with a bunch of hellos and hearts and I loved you, which of course our moderators were like, OMG, we've been mass trolled, which wasn't what's happening. They were just coming by and saying, hello, we love you. But there was a lot of them all at once. So it was a little overwhelming.
Should we go back and say hello to the gamer? Do we know who the gamer is? Should we go back and say hello too and give loves? I feel like that might be like polite.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what channel he was coming from because I didn't get to catch the channel. So I'll go see if I can find.
If you know who the channel was, if we should go back.
But I'll see if I can find the actual channel.
No, like if any of his people are still here, if they know who the channel is, we should go by and say hello.
Email me support@theartsherpa.com so we can get in touch with your
gamerness. We can always like go by and we may be art We could do the same thing.
We could.
We could.
just
We have a
show
community.
up.
They go places.
Yeah, look, we got over 500 people here. We could go say hello
We
to
could,
a gaming
totally.
channel, and then they'd be like, "How come all these polite people just showed up into our chat and started asking very well thought out questions in a polite way, but tend to be kind of shouty?"
Well, we are.
Well, we ask questions in all caps, so that could be very shouty for someone.
That could be very shouty.
It would just be
We're
funny.
very shouty. But that's just so we can see what's
Mr.
happening.
Shadow's like, yeah, FS Malik raid. We could go back and raid Malik, and there'd be like
Oh, is that who that was?
500 very polite painters coming into the room saying, "Hello,
I feel like
what are
we
you
should.
doing?"
So I took a little black into my burnt umber, and I'm coming up underneath the roll, and I'm just adding a little bit of a shadow right there underneath the roll. And then we're going to come in at the base, right where the hair tucks into the roll, and also add a shadow. Yeah, we're done. Creating that form and shape into the hair. But I would love to, like after we're done, we should all go say hello to the person who said hello to us if they're still there. There we go. Isn't that looking nice?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Now, what?
I found him.
You did? Who was
He's
it?
a gamer.
Who was it?
FS Malik.
FS Malik?
Yeah. Oh, he's live right now.
Everyone. Don't like leave us,
No,
but go over there and let's be YouTube lovely and let's continue to put positivity out there and say thank you to Malik. So if you're here right now, go over to Malik's chat just real quick and say thank you, Malik. If you're here on Facebook with us, that would be probably on YouTube if you want to do that. And just be like, the Sherpa says hi and hopes you're great today and that everybody is okay and have a good game. Because that's how dorky I am. I'm going to take a little of my yellow ochre and my cad yellow and I mix them together. And then mix them together in a 1-to-1 mixture. And get a little there. And I'm going to get some titanium white. Get into that. And you can see that gives us kind of a nice, very bright honey blonde. We're going to come here and very lightly paint in some of her little highlight, curling in. Yeah, we should definitely give some love. Always good to give love. And just positivity, man. We all just need to be on each other's team positively.
No, we don't know FS Malik personally.
Nope.
Just he rated us, so we're saying.
But that's a positive thing.
There's a positive rate.
That's a positive
They were very
thing.
lovely and being nice, so we just.
All my moderators are over 35. I don't know for young moderators. So they might not know that. It's a positive thing. Love, 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 love. So go over there and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, love, love, love. We're going to add some highlights to the little roll here.
He's over here playing something and just got pointed out that while he was doing his thing, got raided by the Sherpa. He's having an amusement moment.
Because I'm so kind of lame, let's be honest. I'm cool in that I'm earnest and I try really hard and I really try to help people all over the world, but I'm not like cool. So, nobody's going to invite me to the TikTok house, which quite frankly, I wouldn't go because those kids are crazy and they need to wear a mask. But, and I would be adulting them all the time. Have you had an appropriate meal? Are you taking care of yourself? You can't go be famous and not eat good meals. So I would be kicked right out of the house. Also, I don't think I could handle Trisha Payton. I don't know. I would want to help that girl. I'd be like, self-care, mindful meditation. These are important things. Can't have a war with the whole world. That's a really fun day. That just cheered me up. It just cheered me up.
He's deep in a game. He's having trouble.
Good for you. Try not to die. Have a good time storming the castle. So we're just getting her nice little hair going.
Yep.
back to the hair.
Seriousness of the hair.
The hair is very serious, and Malik probably trying not to die in some very serious, aggressive player versus player game. I don't do those because I don't want to be that stressed. I just want to like look at things. Like if I'm going to be in WoW, I don't want to do anything. I just want to walk around.
There's reciprocating love for the raid.
Aww, yay! Makes me so happy. See, it's just about catching the flow of the hair. There we go. How's her little blonde hair? So let's zoom out and see where we're at.
Okay. Whoop. That's my reminder.
Oh, that we're live? Oh,
well,
look
it's a
at
reminder
her.
for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love.
It does turn out nice.
I'm very happy. Now, me being happy is one thing. I get to paint and I love it and it's my great blessing. But you being happy is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that you're really loving your result as well. I just want you to know when I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh, I love it, and I'm just saying stuff that it is important to me that you guys are happy. There's a nice little shadow there on the back. You know, all the little things, the last little touches that you could do just to make things pretty. You just look for anything that, you know, you want to touch up, that you would want to change, you know, how that's different.
Wow.
Pretty happy. I'm going to go with it. I'm happy.
This is pretty awesome.
Now, I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to sign because I feel like that will be neat. And I don't want to sign in some way that's not going to add to the painting. So I'll come here along the curve of the dress.
Some of the most fun I've had in a live in a while.
That was great, man. I needed that. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Malik. Thank you, my community, for being the kind of people that have fun like that. Oh my gosh, thank you. Now, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is a watercolor. We're going to be doing a castle. The special tool that we're going to be using is a jelly roll pen that is a kind of white, high pigmented pen. You could use a Posca pen. It's just about, we're going to draw in our spider web instead of using a resist to keep the paper white. Should be pretty cool. Very good beginner watercolor. My advice is if you've never ever done it and you want to run to Michael's and everything real quick, just get any, like initially, right, get their little Artist Loft paint but get the 140-pound cold press paper on a block if they have it.
Real quick. We had a bunch of craziness that's in chat.
Tell me.
Did you use burnt umber on the leaves?
No, there was not burnt umber on the leaf.
Okay.
In some of the leaves early on, but in these leaves, we use burnt sienna.
Okay. Now, if we missed any other questions, that was Linda was asking what went on because chat got a little crazy. If we missed any of those, you can always go to we have a Facebook group.
It's also okay. Like if I miss a question in a live show and you would like to ask it in the comments after the show, I go back through and answer. So if there was something important that we didn't catch, we didn't see, it got crazy, something funny happened, or the chat just went by quickly, or I don't know, we're crazy and I didn't get enough coffee.
500 gamers showed up and said
500 gamers that showed up and said hello. What a fun thing. I just needed that so bad. Thank you. If any of that happens, please, in the comments. I mean, also, always let me know what you think. Your feedback means everything, even if it's like, good job. It's as helpful for me to know when I did something right as when I did something wrong. Feedback is how we improve what we do or make sure that we don't stop doing something we should do. So always leave us comments, thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, follow button wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, hit that follow the page. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications. John, do you want to put up a text notification thing so they know how to get texted from us?
Of course I do.
Now, sometimes we run out of texts. But if you're North America and you'd like a text notification from us, that is contiguous United States would be more accurate.
CONUS. I think it actually might include the
Does it include Canada though?
No, but it might have Alaskans.
Would it have Puerto Rico?
I don't know. I'm not that versed in how the
But there, you
SMS
guys are in
billing
my
engine
heart.
works. Yes.
Like family,
But
okay?
if you go to our website and sign up
everywhere.
for that stuff, yeah, that's good. We can get messages out that way.
So please come back tomorrow. I think if you've been wanting to see watercolor and what it's like, you know, I'm going to explain it my Sherpa way. So if you've been interested in that, if you want to just dip your toe into it, grab. We have a kit that is for sale, yes, and the links are in the description. But if you're just like, I can't get all into that right now, the investment I would say that you should get into is the 140-pound cold press watercolor paper on a block. If they have it, block means all the pages are glued together, where is the notebook as they all go apart. The block just makes a couple things easier. If they have it, it's not a deal breaker. And then grab a full set of whatever is a good deal on the watercolors. I do think the Artist Loft is okay student starting place. They have a lot of colors, so you'll be able to adjust to what I'm doing, because it'll have like 24. You can make an easy adjustment. And then when you realize you love it, and it's the best thing ever, and you want to like collect all the watercolor things like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And a watercolor brush, number 8 round. Really all it is. We don't ever really do much different than that.
Yeah.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.